Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Rubik's Craft SMP's Season 9. This is episode 2, the second one of a long-lasting series, hopefully. I've done a lot of work since the last time. I've been grinding a lot, not gonna lie. I've been trying to save some of the important work for camera, but let's just start with the big thing. I've got all my cows up and above here, above the these iron bars, okay? And there's a reason for that. I just bred them because I'm an idiot, so I can't show you. But if I have wheat up here, I can easily breed these cows, and then all their tiny little cows drop down because they can't fit, and it basically over time creates a big slaughtering grounds. Now, you can do more than just 2 per. You can do like 3 or 4. I mean, you can do a lot, right? I decided to stick with just 2 because, for one, it's sometimes difficult to give wheat to all of the cows that are in there when you start adding more. While with 2, it's very simple. There's 1 on each side. And I just didn't want to deal with that, so I decided I would just stick with 2. But also, entity cramming is a real thing. I'm not trying to, or not entity cramming, but rather entity cap. And look at how many players are online right now. Look at all those players, right? How many of them do you think also have cow farms? Probably a lot of them. So I'm trying to be at least understanding of the entities on the server. But basically, over time, while these guys grow up, I keep feeding them more and more until you get a pretty good stockpile. And then I use the sword right here, which I call the Burgerer. And this Burgerer right now just has looting 3, unbreaking 3 on it. And that's because I got a looting 3 book from a new shop at Spawn, which is super helpful. It costed a hefty diamond count, but this early in the season, it makes sense. And honestly, I'd pay any amount of diamonds for looting because that's a super helpful thing for me. And we need looting because we're going to be using a lot of leather for big project number 2, as I mentioned earlier. And I've organized a little bit of how much leather I need. So in here, I've already got all the sugarcane. We're good on sugarcane. This is all the sugarcane I need for big project number 2, which is like 7 stacks. Didn't take that long to get those. I also need roughly 3 stacks of ink sacks and 3 stacks of leather and 3 stacks of feathers. You can probably already guess just from crafting table knowledge that I'm making a bunch of written books, right? And it's you know, I'm getting close on the leather front now that I got that sword. For chickens, what I've been doing is all those chickens that I put over there on the first live stream, I've brought them over here and put a little side coop to attach to this soon-to-be barn. We'll talk about that in a second. This side coop, very simple, tons of chickens. That's it, tons of chickens. This actually relies on entity cramming. So there's a lot of entities in this space, and once I get enough feathers, I'm gonna decrease the amount of entities here, like I said, trying to be conscious about that. But basically, they drop eggs into a hopper. Look how laggy the server is. I swear, it's not just because of me, though. Look at how many people. Oh, we just hit double. We just hit double layered. They drop eggs into here. I throw them in. Eventually, when the chickens grow up, they start cramming the other entities and kill the chickens, which gives us these raw chickens, as well as feathers, which I keep taking out and putting into their respective place. I also try to breed them every once in a while, but breeding... The problem I was saying with having multiple cows in one spot is the same thing that's happening with these guys. Is there's so many in one spot that because I bred one of them, that whatever that click priority is, they get priority and I can't breed. Like I got lucky there. I was able to get one of them, but it's just not very efficient. The egg situation works better. But I might come up with something even better because now that I have looting, I can kill the chickens and get feathers a lot quicker. So we'll see. But the biggest, oh, I also forgot. We got 2 friends here. In fact, I wanted to name both of these guys on camera because I have 2 name tags that I found in a mine shaft. Look at all these other goodies I've gotten. I got 2 axolotls, explored a cool cave. I got tons of clay that I smelted into terracotta. That's going to be used for big project number 1. We'll get to that eventually, but big project number 2 is ironically more important. But we had 2 name tags. Let's name them in our anvil that I made here. The first one, I didn't even think about what the names are going to be. Let's go with Alfonso. I like Alfonso. There we go. And what about a lady friend? Let's just do Maya. Alfonso and Maya. There you go. It's important to distinguish which ones are which because this one is a little bit faster but has less health. I don't have a saddle on, so I can't show you that. This one is slower but has more health. So let's make Maya the fast one. How about that? There we go. And then Alfonso's the slower one. These guys are super helpful. I love donkeys in Minecraft, just so we're clear. The reason I love them is because we don't have access to shulkers yet, and anything that gives you extra storage, that's a bad example, like Maya, I keep all these building blocks, which is the main palette that I use, right? I keep that with Maya. In fact, honestly, I'm probably going to use Maya more often than Alfonso, but there are times where you need two. So if I ever need to build something, like let's say at spawn, which we might work on this episode, then we can just take Maya over to spawn and we have all of our building materials there. Super helpful for the early game because we're not having shulkers for a long time because we're fighting the end dragon together, and I don't know when that's going to be. So these will do in the meantime, as well as a good old handy chest boat. I've actually been using this quite a bit to sail. I made some canals to get around. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. I just keep this with me at all times now. So you're caught up now. You're caught up now. Wheat farm's still working great. But what I wanted to do, I didn't want to build a full barn. Like, I'm pressed for time. In my mind, big project number 2 needs to be done as soon as possible. So that's why I started this, but I wanted to finish it on camera. So let's prettify this mud barn up a bit. So one of the things I was talking about on stream that I don't think I said here, and we might lose some cows here, but that's okay. I can get them back pretty easily. And they're baby cows, so they're going to stick with their parents for the most part. One thing I was mentioning, though, is that I've been playing Metroid Prime Remastered on the Nintendo Switch a bit. Sounds like a sponsor. It's not. And one thing that's great about that game, it's one of my favorite games of all time. One thing I love about that game, though, is pretty much every area you enter is distinct from another area. I get caught in Minecraft of trying to do the same, like getting one formula down and then just repeating it over and over again, even when there might be better solutions out there. And I get caught in it, and it annoys me creatively because I notice that I'm doing it, but then I still continue to do it. So this season I'm trying to branch out a little bit. While I want things to be in theme and have unity within each other, I also want to make sure that buildings aren't the exact same, right? I could go for the exact same palette as this farm here, which I actually quite like, but no, I want to break it up a little bit. I want this barn to be more than just a mud farm. This is a barn, right? And I think one way I want to do that is incorporating some of these wood stripped oak logs as opposed to the dark oak, because it adds a little bit more wood, I think, and maybe less mud. And I think the contrast might be welcome. So if we do that, and then maybe we break out of this brick layer right here and instead just put some regular spruce wood here. And what if we put the brick everywhere except for the bottom to break up that idea that the brick must be the foundation of the house? And we finish this off. Why are you? There we go. And then what good would a barn be without some barn doors? And I'm thinking if we have these here, it might really separate it nicely. And I just realized that's not symmetrical. We'll fix it in post. Don't worry, we'll get that sorted. But I think that might be a good way to break things up. In fact, I almost want them to go all the way up, possibly all the way down too, like so. Yeah? Or is that just a lot of brown? Okay, I think that's a little bit of a better direction. Having these brick lines come down help break it up. And then I kind of like this base as just regular mud, which also reminds me, I don't know if this is necessarily important enough to do now, but I was thinking this mud texture would actually look really good as, you know, mud on the ground. I think just kind of like patented down like that. In fact, let me put this in my offhand. Patented down like that, I think is going to make it look much more animalistic. And we can incorporate some other blocks in here too once we have a little bit of a base going. Possibly some other brown blocks. Maybe even path blocks. That was kind of a happy accident, maybe. Oh my gosh, it's like impossible to place these without doing it. But yeah, I don't know. That might be kind of interesting. I think that works okay. I mean, there could be other decorations that are added in the future, but honestly, this is mostly just the place to hide my very inhumane way of storing cows. So I think we can get away with that. Get away with the design, that is. I do think PETA's going to knock on my door soon about the inhumane style of keeping cows. And we've got a little bit of design for the front, but in order to finish it, I think it would be easier if we started putting the roof in. And as expensive as it might be, because mud is not actually that common on this current world size, I think it might be a good idea to make the edge out of mud bricks. The edge of the roof, that is. So just all the way along the side like this. Oh, hi. I didn't know I was recording yet. Yeah, we're also going to be placing the stairs up on the side like this. And putting the spruce wood or spruce stairs in the middle, basically. And I don't know, it's looking a little bit wonky so far, but I think once we start placing more blocks, it'll hopefully start to look okay. That's the plan anyways. And taking a quick break to make some chickens cram themselves to death. And every once in a while, you just need to do one of these. There's no way around it. Okay, after a little bit of tweaking, I think I found what I want to do here. So I extended the roof up a little bit higher, and I think that's going to create a nice barn curve. It'll flatten out probably like up here or so, and then go back down. Maybe it's looking less like a barn, a little bit more like a house with just the general structure, but I think we'll get away with it. We're trying weird things this season. That's the theme of the building this season. I want to try new things. This light wood on top of the next to like the darker wood, it might just seem like a little bit too contrasty, but I was thinking, what if, okay, hear me out. You see what I'm going with here? They're almost like wooden bolts that hold it in place, you know? I don't like it. I don't like it. I tried it, I don't like it. Maybe every once in a while, like this or something, it looks okay. Maybe up here, it would look okay, actually. Up on the top instead? Maybe. But then again, maybe not. Maybe signs would actually work good. But before we test out more there, I want to try another contrasting trick up here. The problem is with this roof is that if we use mostly spruce, which I plan on because I don't want to use all my brick, it's going to look very samey, right? And I'm like, how can we break that up? Well, instead of adding more brick, what if we incorporated just a little bit more oak in between, right? Just like this. Every once in a while, you know, it breaks it up a little bit. Maybe we could do a full stripe, right? We commit to the full stripe. Boom. And then put this here, and then boom, boom, boom. What about that? Always put one or two. Or maybe I feel like I've seen houses in Minecraft do this before, but maybe we can create a little bit of a lengthwise steps just using texture, right? Like so. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, I think I might like this better. Yeah, and I feel like I've definitely seen this before. This is not me coming up with this. Let's get rid of the lines. Let's try a prototype with this here, and then I'll see what I can do about that down there. And while I've pretty much finished the barn, I haven't fully finished it, and that's because there's a couple of conceptual things I still need to figure out with finishing up the walls, and then also some more materials I need to get, namely mud. I think I'm pretty close to out of mud. I still have some packed one, and I'm sure Mia still has some packed as well, but I also want to save that for a build possibly this episode, but it's looking like it might be the next. But for the meantime, this is as far as we're getting for today, I think. In terms of the barn, well, this episode, we still got more to do, okay? But yeah, I just finished placing all of the roof blocks, added a little bit of a slab roof up here. Obviously, might decorate this up a little bit with some oak to spruce it up. But we're going to fully finish this build later. For now, I need to make more progress on big plan number 2. And with everything, with all this egg action, it's making less and less sense to rely entirely on cramming because we have to wait so long for things to go into fruition. So I'm going to try a new strategy here halfway through. Just going to block this area off, and none of the chickens can get anywhere from here. And I'm just going to start tossing the chickens into a second coop, a temporary coop in the back of this barn. And that's another thing we want to pretty up is this right here. Just add a few blocks to make it look more natural. But I want to spawn as many chickens here as possible, let them grow up, and then use my looting sword to finish them off, also known as the burgerer. Now, as you can see in my inventory, every time I go to grab some eggs, you might notice that there are some leather. There's some leather here. And this leather pretty much completes all the leather that we need. I think we needed less than 3 stacks, so we should be good on that front. And then, of course, all this steak I keep smelting up too, and I could probably put just one of these in there. Dried kelp, man. Dried kelp's good stuff. I'm going to try to do that more this season. But yeah, happy with how it's going. Let's just grab burgerer, and we're going on a little bit of an adventure. And what better way to utilize our jest boat, which I am calling Chesty for some reason. I don't know why. Whoops, excuse me. What better way to use it than to go on an adventure, right? And I'm already lost. Nope, wait, here it is, here it is. Here is a little bit of a canal I made so I can get across the map. Without showing you the world map, it's a little bit tough to show exactly how useful this thing is, but this essentially will lead us into the ocean. And the reason we're going to the ocean is to get some much needed ink sacs, because that's the thing that we are lowest on right now for our big plan number 2. And here's a nice little patch right here. And with my looting sword, this should be no issue to start filling up pretty quickly. Someone else lives around here. I'm not sure who. I don't think they've been online in a bit because I haven't seen much development. But it's definitely a cool spot. There's also a flower forest right over there. And we're definitely going to be collecting a lot of squid heads inadvertently from this. Oh, there's a patch right over there. And a little pro tip is to hold F3 and press B to show hitboxes so you can see these guys from really far away. They're going so far where it doesn't even feel worth it to swim to them. But what does seem worth it is to grab some of this kelp while I'm out here, chopping from above the top line so that it grows back. And this is where chesty becomes helpful because I'm already pretty much full of kelp. And of course, another squid head. By the way, earlier I found this pretty cool beach that just has a ton of turtles. So I very rightfully so named the beach Turtle Beach, which is a name that's never been used ever before. All right, and after that adventure, after getting tons of squid heads, which I've just put them in the chicken chest because I don't know where else to put extra heads, but at some point, like I said, we're going to be collecting all of them, all right? Mark my words, or at least we're going to try. So I lost my ball bearings. Yeah, we got pretty much everything we need. We're just missing a little bit of feathers, so I'm going to wait for those chickens to grow up and I'll chop them. But in the meantime, I think we officially have enough for me to finally show you guys what plan B, what major plan 2 is. That's what we call it, right? Let's take everything. Can we? This is a bad idea. Let's just take like 1 stack of everything. Okay, so obviously we need to turn this all into paper. And then we need to put the paper around like this. And then I think we can even just put the ink sac and feathers here. No, we got to craft them first in the books. There's 64 books. And then we're just adding 64 feathers and 64 ink sacs to make 64 books and quills. I just realized you can't stack these. So making them a stack at a time is actually a really bad idea. So let's just do 1. And let me write exactly what this is going to be. All right, and there's the text. Congratulations on being an official Bookcoin owner. This next-gen token can be bought and sold at the Cryptocurrency Hall near Spawn. Some shops and or players may also use this as currency. I don't need an A there. It's fine. It's simple. The more Bookcoin bought, the more it sells for. It's never too early to buy, as the sell amount has no cap. Start buying some now to make a profit later. It's never too early to buy. Thank you very much. Official book coins are written by Pat_N and are copies of the original. If the tooltip differs, then it is not an authentic book coin. Certification seal. I did a Lenny face, because why not? So there you go. You might be thinking, Pat, are you really making a cryptocurrency? Yes, I am. In Minecraft. Cryptocurrency's got some shady stuff going on in real life, so why not make it a fun thing in Minecraft where the stakes are very low? So essentially, let me sign this real quick. This is the original book, but we're just going to call this Bookcoin, keeping it simple. Sign and close. So when we hover over this, right, it says by Patnet original. This original, this is just my copy, right? Only I'm going to have access to this. I'm going to put it in my end chest too. But the thing is, did I put up? No, I still have the stuff right here. Let's just make another one real quick. The thing is if you put this in a crafting table with another, you can then make a Bookcoin copy of original, right? These are 2 separate things. They don't stack. One's the original, one's the copy of original. And the thing is you can actually make another copy of a copy. If I just put this in here, copy of a copy, but then that's not going to stack with this one, right? And in order for the redstone mechanics to work, they all basically need to be copies of the original. But that also means that I can make them unique, meaning no other player can replicate this because they don't have access to the original, right? So that's how you get the authenticity of a Bookcoin, basically. Now, it requires a lot of crafting for me because I got to keep the original and I got to keep crafting these books, but these do eventually stack. And there's going to be basically a heck of a lot of them. That's why I have so many books and ink sacs and leather and chicken guts, whatever these things are called. I have no idea. to make a bunch of Bitcoin. The idea is that you are going to buy them, and then after you buy them, the sell amount goes up, right? So people can hold on to them and then sell it for higher later, right? It's a kind of a funny, fun, goofy thing. It's not meant to be super serious, but I also plan on making other shops that will accept Bitcoin as currency, and I'm also going to see if I can talk to some of the other shop owners, some of the other local businessmen, and try to convince them to use Bitcoin. We'll see if I'm able to do that. Maybe we can make some fun episodes off of that. But I think it's going to be kind of interesting. It's not going to launch yet because the trading hall, it doesn't exist. The cryptocurrency hall, it's not a spawn. If you look there now, it's not there because I still need to make it, right? This stuff takes time. That's why I wanted to get a head start on actually having the books first, and then we're going to make a big haul for it, and we're probably going to do that next episode. So there it is. That's big project number 2, which ironically we did first, and I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think there's going to be some interesting interactions because of this, so I can't wait for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you guys subscribe if you'd like to check out more episodes, and of course the playlist link is in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So long, take care, and goodbye.